Oh my God. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Oh my God. Happy. And it is a happy day. Wow. I'm still coming down from last night. This is the Anthony Gargano Show, and we're presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out TrueMark.com/PHLY or stop at your local branch. Learn more about the credit union difference at TrueMark Financial today. Well, let's get into it. Oh, my. Which started as a night of great angst. I have to tell you, it was one of those moments where I feel great today, and I can't wait for Saturday and Sixers, Knicks, the whole thing. But I almost feel like a survivor. All right? I almost felt like it was... You ever have be on a flight and it's like a turbulence and it's one of those things where you start to get a little nervous, right? Thoughts start to go by, your life starts to flash before your eyes. That's what it was like watching them last night. Sixers Heat, the Heat we know will make it ugly. They'll make it muddy. That's what they do. They muck it up. They acted like the Sixers, they had never seen a zone before. And so we'll get to the end and the elation, and really, I give them tons of credit for winning that game. All right. And I want to laud, a lot of people, obviously, starting with Nico, starting with Batum, who saved the whole thing. Between Chick-fil-A and Batum, the night was saved, and it was a big deal. But the wave of emotion that we dealt with last night was unlike anything. Embiid talked about after the game, it had a Game 7 feel to it. And boy, did it ever have a Game 7 feel. It was white knuckle. And here's the deal. The first half, I'm going, they're going to lose this game? Like, are you kidding? I was like out of my mind because it wasn't that they were down or losing, and I didn't expect it, right? Because I thought it would be a lot easier of a game. Now, you knew it would get ugly and it would be close, but I didn't think that you needed Nico Batum to go out of his mind to save your bacon, right? Like, I didn't believe that they would need that. But they acted like they never saw a zone before. I mean, it was one of the most frustrating first halves, followed by one of the greatest finishes. I mean, in that first half, I adore Tyrese Maxey. I love Tyrese Maxey. However, last night, he was horrendous. He was horrendous last night against the zone. He's got to do better in protecting the basketball and getting into entry spots. Now, I know, and Embiid said it after the game, that he was struggling to get to his spots. Now, look, between Joe pulling at his shorts, stretching them out, right? Like, I mean, you can pull them shorts, being gassed and the kind of the body language early was not good. And then you had 11 turnovers. So they had no rhythm offensively. But some of the entry passes were horrible, right? I'm going, what am I watching? And all this stuff. And I'm watching it with my cousin and my niece Domenica and Karen, my cousin's wife, and my friend Andy, who we all grew up together. And we're watching this game. And we're Sixer people to the hilt, right? Like, core Sixer people. We've been watching games together since, we were little boys. And so we're just perplexed. Like, why do we do this? We had this conversation before the game, and my cousin and I are kind of separated. We kind of share a brain. And I said to Joey, I go, I believe in them. I think they're going to make a run. I believe that this is different, right? That it doesn't matter playoffs. Like, it's different. There's no Simmons. There's no Harden, and all the stuff that we discussed leading up to last night's game, right here. And then the first half happened. And I don't know about you guys, but all I keep thinking is, I'm an idiot. Oh my God, I fell for it again. I'm a sucker. Like, I fell for it again. Oh, thank you. So I tell the story of the first half because it makes the second half so much sweeter. And it all started with the chicken. Yes, this is the chicken game. Thank you, Chick-fil-A. Thank you, Nuggies. It was the chicken. This forever will go down as the chicken game. Bricking for chicken. It happened. Caleb Martin, right? The 7-minute mark of the third quarter. Sixers down 11. Caleb Martin misses the first. And then as we do, because, it becomes a thing, right? So brick for chicken becomes a thing. And the crowd starts to get into it. And then he misses the second. And then all of a sudden, the energy in the building skyrockets, right? All of a sudden, there's energy. And the Sixers go on that mini run. And that was the run that saved the game. Now, obviously, Batum was incredible, absolutely incredible last night. Not only the 6 threes were unbelievable, but the defense that he played. Because he shuts down Jimmy, right? Like, when he was guarding Jimmy, he really shut him down. Jimmy had a couple. He had that 1-3. It's a big 3. But Batum shuts him down. And then when Hero starts to cook, Batum, in the waning moments, shuts him down. The big block off the tie, swat. Batum! He was unbelievable last night. And you know what? I got to tell you the two things. One, as frustrating as Joel was in the first half, he closed last night. Inside the last 4 minutes, he was the Embiid last night inside the 4 minutes. Like, here's where I feel so great about it, is that he didn't skulk away and he didn't mope away the game. They fought and they fought and he fought and he won. And he vanquished Jimmy and Miami and the Vampires. He vanquished them. 15 boards, right? He had that one huge offensive rebound. He had the 3. He had the and 1. He had that wonderful pass to Kelly Oubre for the and 1. He gets doubled and he fires that thing in. And that was a huge, what a pass that was. And that was the and 1 that kind of seals the game. That was monstrous. He had 5 dimes, right? So even though the energy wasn't there in the first half and he was very out of sorts, which it's so interesting. If you follow him be like we do, he gets out of sorts, right? Like when he doesn't play, and this is what excites me for the run. Because now he's going to be playing. He'll be in a rhythm. Like, the worst thing for him is always days off. Like, he almost should have played Sunday just to keep his rhythm going. And I was all for sitting in, but just to keep his rhythm going, because he was completely out of sorts, really, in the first 2.5 quarters of that game last night. And the game became tenuous up until the chicken mode. It was incredible. Nick Nurse. You know what Nick Nurse did? He left Tobias on the bench. And that was a brilliant move, man. It was. He, again, was, the friendly ghost. I mean, just the bunnies. They miss bunnies. And, oh, my God. He gets second chances. He rode that lineup, and it was the smart thing to do. Finish the game with Oubre and Batum, right? Like, that was the smart thing to do with Lowry and Tyrese and Joe. So, I thought Nick Nurse coached a terrific game down the stretch. And listen, winning a game like that is the perfect propeller as you head into a Knicks series. And I don't know about you guys. And look, all I kept thinking about is if they lose this game, the spring's dead, right? Like, Phillies are good, right? And they survived yesterday, the Grand Slam. Phillies are going to be good, and it's going to be a fun summer in baseball. But come on. Like, we wanted this spring to be special to get a run. Like, I love this stuff because I love the run of playoffs, right? Where you got a game every other night and you have something to look forward to and your adrenaline pumps and you're excited. And that's what I love about these runs. And all I kept thinking about is I can't believe they're going to lose this game, just like always in the playoffs at home, and then you got the Hawks games in my head, and then the Celtics game 6 is in my head. I'm going, oh, these games right here on this home floor. And they won. And they avoided Boston. Because you can't, off a loss like that, you wouldn't have a chance against Boston. You need Embiid to get into a rhythm of playing against the Celtics. So it was a perfect, winning that game. And I think they will beat the Knicks. I do. I think they're going to beat the Knicks. I think they match up really well against them. They are a minus 120 favorite as the 7 seed against the 2 seed. I think that speaks volumes for it. We'll talk to the big brain a little bit later on about that stuff. But I love them. I love them against the Knicks. And then we'll see. Indiana, Milwaukee. We'll see what happens there. But, man, what a game last night. I was so overjoyed at the end of that thing. The way they closed it out, that was different. That was not the same. They closed the game out. JP,
Cause, let's go!
Sing the song, JP!
Let's go! Aplaudan los manos, todo el mundo, para Filadelfia. 76ers, pisar tus pies, todo el mundo, para Filadelfia. 76ers, let's go, cuz.
There you go,
what
buddy.
A performance, what a night,
Excellent.
What a team. Oh, jubilation last night, cuz. Oh.
That was popping off, by the way. Brought to you by Olipop. Find your favorite Olipop flavor at your nearest Wawa. Dude.
Oh, my God.
I mean, if I told you the angst, right? Only that give away the jubilation. For once, all right, with this squad, it ended well. It ended well. It began poorly. Usually it's the other way around, right? Usually, they got the lead, the whole thing. They blow the lead, they lose the game. This was different. It ended well. They closed it out, JP. They closed it out.
Cuz I go back to what you said, the Sixers and this team, it's like theater. And you watched last night, that was an actual movie, the drama that you felt in that first half, and then them fighting back to get back in the lead, and it took all the way down to the wire. That right there, it was theater essentially. But I mean, too many things you take away. But one thing I always told you, if you want to win a championship, it just can't be your 1 or 2 guys. Some other role players have to step up. And boom, boom, batoon, cuz. Stepping up in a huge way. Yeah. I'm going to have to learn French now, cuz, because of Nicholas Batum.
I want you to sing the song in French.
Oh, my God.
All right.
I'm take that challenge, and we're going to do it there. But also, Nick Nurse deserves a lot of roses, too, because the one thing, I listened to after the game, you hear him talking about how the team was beating the Miami Heat zone defense because it was killing us in that first half, and hear him actually have a plan. Doc would have been like, yeah, we just got to shoot more.
Oh, my God.
And Nick's giving you an actual plan.
It would not have ended well, all right, if Doc was coaching.
Yeah, we would have absolutely lost that game. But just hearing, the differences between Nick and Doc coaching is night and day. But I feel really good, and I'm with you. Bring on the Knicks. I'm ready to go to Madison Square Garden. But, last night was just awesome. I went to bed like a baby, like a happy baby with a smile on my face.
It's funny you mentioned theater and a story, a film, and it was, right? So all stories are based off of 3 acts, right? So you have 3 acts. So at the end of the second act, right toward the middle to end of the second act is what happens is the story turns, right? Mm-hmm. There's a turning point. And last night, that turning point happened with the chicken.
Chicken nuggets.
All right?
The nugs, as Andrew would say.
Thank you, Chick-fil-A. Thank you. All right? You know what? I did freaking my kid eats at a singular time, right? Anthony, 30 nuggets, 2 Chick-fil-A sandwiches, large fries, and a vanilla shake.
I'm jealous of that.
With no whipped cream, right? Right. And every time the total comes up, because that's just him. That doesn't count Massimo or my wife or me or anything. That's him. So I go, every time I see the total, I cringe, right? And I go, oh my God, oh man, kidding me? I feel blessed now because that changed the course of that play-in game. And it's amazing, right? It was a play-in game, and it felt like a Game 7.
And that's how you have to handle it. Caleb Martin, thank you so much for that. But that was the atmosphere, and that's what you want to see, how them step up in that type of big moment. The atmosphere was alive, too, with the Wells Fargo Center. But no, like, just that.
Well, listen, nobody does it like we do.
No.
Like this series with the Knicks is going to be fun.
Oh, my God.
It's going to be fun, man.
And we're traveling up there,
Two
too.
old basketball towns, right? Broad Street v. Broadway, 30th Street v. Penn Station. Like, it's the Amtrak series.
I got the goosebumps here when you say that.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. Like, it's going to be a lot of fun. But all because of last night. And I don't know, like, when you're watching it, I mean, we were all, like, inconsolable.
Yeah. So just a quick context. Obviously, you were watching with your family. I was at a charity event for 302 Birds, so shouts to 302 Birds. But everyone was, just hanging out. And then once the Phillies turned into the Sixers game on the TV, everyone corralled around this corner watching the game. It just was all on this one screen, and we're all just corralled watching as the Sixers. And that first half, right, was on that run. And we're all just like...
Yeah, but it was even beyond just a run, right? They were so disjointed.
Yeah.
They were so disjointed offensively. And think about it. Like, what Miami does. Miami plays that
We
zone.
talked about that yesterday.
Of course, because that's what they do.
That's all they do.
And you should be way more equipped to beat it. So the difference is they were blitzing Maxey. And what was driving me nuts was the lackadaisical passes.
Yeah.
Like those looping, just ducks. I mean, seriously, what are you doing? Right? And I know Joe is struggling to get to his spot, but he's lumbering, right? He's lethargic. And then you can't Miami pushed them out between the 3-point circle and half court. Look how far they were. They were 30 feet out starting their offense.
Yeah. No, I think really one big thing too, Cuz, is the intensity. Because like you saw too in that second half, a big turnaround, the beating that zone defense was just the off-ball movement. They were moving around the ball. They were getting into those crevices too that zone defense will leave there. So it was just good adjustments here, but especially it starts with Nick Nurse.
They started their lanes, right?
Yeah.
You started because when they're going at it with a 5-out, right? And you're trying to get those driving lanes and then drive and kick, right? That's the essence of basketball, especially when they're playing like that. Yeah. But they could never. They were starting off. Embiid had his back to the basket, 30 feet out. Like, he just get pushed out. And then, it was one bad shot after another. Yeah. And that's where, look, Batum, man.
Everyone just fed off of Batum. Even like Campaign was making big shots. Paul Reed's trying to get some big rebounds in there. So that energy just kind of radiates with everybody else. And listen, if you're going to go on a run, it's going to take a team effort. Yeah. And you got to feel good after last night.
Oubre, like, he played well. I love the fact that, like, he's the anti-Tobias, right? He's fearless.
Exactly.
He's fearless.
Exactly. And so now that we move into this next series, like game 1, it might be the Joel game, might be the Tyrese game, but this has to be the trend. Someone else
Tyrese,
has to
I think he'll go off. He'll have one of those.
I thought it was going to be last night, but that's fine.
He'll have a 35-point. Listen, he just got to realize about running the offense too. Like, when you got the ball in your hands, you're going to make sure that offense flows. All right, we got lots to do. Woo! My God, JP.
I'm excited, man.
Because listen, I couldn't deal with another. Like, this is the 7th run post-process, the 7th playoff run. Yeah. And I couldn't be staring at Boston first round. Like, at some point, we have to slay that sea monster, right? They're a sea monster. And we're going to have to slay them at some point.
Yeah.
but it's not happening in the first round.
That's so huge. Avoiding Boston in round one is so huge. So would rather face the New
And
York
by the way,
Knicks,
like
man.
Miami will test them.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a fun
Miami
series.
will test them.
Yeah,
Miami will muck it up for them.
yeah. You shocked Chicago beat Atlanta at all?
No,
That Atlanta team, what happened?
better, dude. Hot garbage.
That was a.
But listen, you
that's a
got
terrible decline.
you have nothing down low.
Yeah, let's go
You
point.
got Capella. That's it. But I got to tell you, it's going to come down to it. I'm not looking past the Knicks. I do think the Sixers will beat New York, so I feel good about the matchups there. Wow, I'll tell you, what a night last night. And like that building is awesome.
Yeah. No,
Like
my God,
nobody's
Will Ferguson was
celebrating.
awesome.
The crowd goes wild. Like it's fabulous.
Yeah.
It's why we love sports, man.
Absolutely.